The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Nestled in the Finger Lakes of upstate New York lies the Watkins Glen International Raceway. Originally home for Formula One in the U.S., it has housed NASCAR since the late 80s, a short burst of IndyCar, and many endurance events. Well, tonight the Red Sox Racing League takes their turn here at the 2.45-mile shortened version here of the Watkins Glen International at what is basically a pseudo superspeedway of road courses. Welcome everyone to PTR TV for tonight's race of the Red Sox Racing League. It's going to be round number 3 of 6 in our GT3 and LMP campaign here from the twists and turns of the Watkins Glen International. Of course, it's going to be myself, Corey Silva, doing the one-man show both in the booth and in the production truck, giving you all the footage and pressing all the buttons to make tonight's festivities happen. As we usually come into these events, currently we have qualifying underway for our LMP class, of which we have, looks like 6 drivers who have taken to this class here on the evening. Mark Wilson currently leading the top of the, well, he's on the top of the pylon right now. Interestingly enough, Ryan Robertson, who has been the dominator in this series, has not taken the trip here to the Finger Lakes region of New York, so that will give a new winner on the season, because Ryan Robertson, I mean, in all sincerity, has been kind of cakewalking away with this season. I don't have the points graphic, unfortunately, here today. I wasn't able to get that populated in time, but you can see there on the top of the board, very tight times here in LMP, 6/10ths back, and throughout our 6 drivers, and that is very much akin to the fact that this track is, let's just be quite honest, it is a very, very simple layout here, and the back-end graphics do not want to populate the track map for me, but I'm pretty sure anybody who knows absolutely anything about motorsport knows the layout here at the Watkins Glen International Raceway, especially the Cup version. You can see here that back straightaway. We are omitting the boot version, as the NASCAR Cup Series drivers do run that shortened configuration, not going into the exterior parts here and adding those about extra mile here. And worth noting, Reed Rundle is our pole sitter for the GT3 class by about a half second over Terry Daw, which is for this track, that is a very large margin here. So I'm not sure if that was slipstream or if he really just has the confidence here, because Watkins Glen, a track that is going to be very much a slipstream race. It's going to be very much a driver confidence race, because the corners we have here, the carousel here, going to go down the back straightaway into a 90-degree left-hand turn, very good for passing. You set yourself up for the right-hand final corner there, right down to the apron, right out to the safety barrier under the bridge, and you're back on the front straightaway. Head down the front straightaway here on board with the Batmobile West Turner, all the hard on the binders here, the 90. And you can only go about maybe a car width off before iRacing does the out there. Looks like he's going to pull off and probably out of battery power for that lap. No, these LMPs only get about 1 lap or so, I think, on the battery power. Actually, that might be the hybrid, so. But maybe he just wasn't on a good lap of sorts here. But that's going to be Robert Cansian here, currently last on the LMP countdown here. But this is going to be the end of live laps here. So at the timer going down to 0 as usual, they will have about a minute and a half or so to run some cool down lap, or rather to finish their live lap, and See that 90 seconds that just went on the timer. He is going to be able to finish this lap. Robert Cansian, he did just surpass Dwayne McCarthy there by about 6/100ths of a second. Todd Pietri, he is fourth right now. Only about 2/10 off pole. You can see some grass there on the edge of the circuit. Let's see Pietri. Nope, he is going to take the hard right-hand turn into the pits, as well as Mark Wilson. So that looks like that's going to basically encompass our starting lineup here today, but we'll let the formalities of the countdown continue. Our race details here, nothing out of the ordinary. Again, our 35-minute races here in the Red Sox Racing League with a limited fuel load that does populate a pit stop on or around the 20-minute mark in the race, between 20-25 minutes. Most of the time you'll see pit stops occur, and the incident penalties that will affect you in the points, as well as the fuel penalty, which we have seen come into a play a little bit more this season, if memory does serve. Of course, these guys do have to make it the entire cooldown lap, and they have to make it back to the pits under their own power, at least to the pit entry cone. If they do not perform such tasks, they will be penalized 4 points in the overall championship. So, of course, that does want to be omitted here. But that is the timer going down to 0. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in here at PTR TV. If it's the first time, do not make it your last on our mission to hit 1,000 subscribers. So anything that you can do by hitting that like and subscribe button will help. 60% of our viewers are not subscribed, so one at a time we can hit our goals with a little bit of help from our audience. But here, these guys are heading down trackside to get the race underway, so let's head down with them and give you the PTR TV starting lineup here today from the Watkins Glen International Raceway. On tonight's overall pole, lap time of 1 minute, .962, Mark Wilson. Congrats to him on that pole position, with Les Turner outside of the front row. In third, we have Kevin Kyle. Todd Pietri going to roll off fourth in class. And then last row of LMPs is going to be Robert Cansian and Dwayne McCarthy. Starting our GT3 lineup is Reed Rundle, and then Terry Dahl outside of the front row, still looking for that first win. I've not covered a broadcast win, but he's come so very close. Mark Kodrowski with a third. David Berry, he's won a few races in the league. He's going to be rolling off fourth in class. Andrew Humphrey in fifth. Thomas Wolfe in sixth. Seventh finds Bill Pawlucky out of New York, with Dennis Griffin in eighth. Ed Sutcliffe in ninth. And then James Prostel Jr., the Michigan native, rolling off 10th in class. Ross Booth, he enjoys his first challenges. He's going to try it once more, along with Robert Barros in the 58, and that encompasses our GT3 lineup. So a little bit different here. I'm going to get right off the chat I had with Terry pre-race. So the LMP are going, basically we always have a staggered start in the league. Basically the LMP or the faster class will go approximately 15 minutes or 15 minutes, that'd be a long time, 15 seconds before the other class does, to kind of create a stagger. But because of the short lap times here at Watkins Glen, only about minute 7 or 8 in GT3, or as we saw, minute 9, and only about a minute flat, minute 1, the distance is not that much, so they're trying a little bit of a stagger. So what will happen is the LMPs are going to go on the green flag. The GT3s will line up right behind them, but they will not accelerate until the start-finish line. So that should create about a 5-ish to 10-second buffer between classes, rather than about a 20-second buffer, once the speed and stuff is accounted for, because that would mean we are getting into traffic very, very quickly. So I wanted to kind of tidy that up here. So our keys to the race here at Watkins Glen International. This is the super speedway of road courses. So you definitely are going to be in traffic a lot. You're going to have a lot of people around. You're going to have some high speeds. Again, slipstreaming will come into play. Drafting, I should just say, as a oval native here myself. And then keep the momentum here. This track is about keeping the speed up as much as possible. You do not want to slow down any more than needed, because with these long straightaways and drafting opportunities, you don't want to be any more behind than you need to be. Very quickly, our weather conditions here today, I don't think they're anything out of the ordinary. 7 o'clock Eastern, well, sim time, 77 air, 81 track. But that is our pre-race. Now we are ready to get these guys let loose here and have a fun night of racing here at Watkins Glen. Pace car takes that hard right-hand turn in. Barney has the flag in hand, just waiting for him to give it the wave. There he goes. Let's race here at Watkins Glen. New visual here. We have basically all the cars filing off into turn number 1. There go the LMPs, and the slight gap back to the GT3s are a much more populous class here, as we have a 12-6 split here in favor of the GT3s. But Mark Wilson, he's going to pull out to a gap that there of about 0.7 of a second. You can kind of see the conga line there, the drafting slipstream line there. Heading into the bus stop here, this is one of the prime passing opportunities, but it's also a very difficult place because you're switching back, you're having to deal with the curbs, keep the car as straight as possible while trying to also coordinate passes. Definitely not the easiest thing to manage there, but let's head back, look at our GT3s. You can see Reed Rundle has a little bit of a gap over Kedrowski. Now, the GT3s, they don't have slipstreaming as radically as they used to with some physics updates here on the iRacing service, so you're not going to see 6/7 slipstream suck up events as you would normally see. Maybe about 3/4 will be what the gap will be. But you can see right here, Mark Kedrowski is going to go to the left side of the track. Reed Rundle is going to give him the preferred lane there. I think he did that intentionally to try and mitigate time loss. Just said, you take the preferred line, I'll get in line behind you. Reed Rundle goes back to the second spot there. Terry Dahl dropped back to third there on the opening lap, but may be able to get a little bit of a tow there, only about 0.6 of a second back than Berry, Humphrey, Wolf, and Griffin there. Looks like to be our lead draft. Actually, Thomas Wolf is the last in line. Dennis Griffin leading the next pack of vehicles. Conga line of Griffin, Paul Lucky, Ross, Booth, Barrows, Sutcliffe, and Prostel. Now, it's going to be a hard last to first challenge today for Ross Booth because of the nature of Watkins Glen. It is a track where you're not going to have it, because of the fact that it is so simple, you're not going to have the huge lap variances that we'll see at some of the more intricate circuits. Guys are going to be bunched together with the slipstream, and just because they are all going to have some relatively good pace here. So I really don't know how well his last to first challenge is going to work. But we'll find out together, of course. Right now, a little bit of a sandwich here. Third, fourth, fifth in LMP. That is Kevin Kyle, the red, white, and blue machine. Todd Barron-Pietri right in the middle there. And then the very vibrantly colored machine of Robert Kansian. And an awful carousel here down the backstretch. That's Dwayne McCarthy, who is just out of the shot there, just out of the tow, but not too far back where he may be able to take advantage of it. Mark Wilson still hanging on to that gap of about a half second over Les Turner. Let's take a look at the lap times on the ticker. I'll switch the gaps over to lap time. You can see basically a dead draw, 1 and 2. Then 3, 4, 5, only about maybe a 10th separating all of them. And not too far off pace is Dwayne McCarthy there. And then you can look at the GT3 class. Mark Kedrowski actually had a really good lap there, 4/10 up on Rundle, and another 3, 4/10 on Rundle this time by. So Mark Kedrowski has some speed to play with here at Watkins Glen. You can see Terry Dahl with that good lap, only about a 10th off of Kedrowski. So don't count out that 53, but again, part of the nature of this track is that the simplicity of it is both a blessing and a curse. And I say that in the nature of it's easy, so everyone has pretty good pace here. It's easy to be consistent here because the track layout, you're more fighting the drivers than you are the track, but at the same token, that also makes it more difficult to gain time. You're not going to have as many opportunities for mistakes. You're not going to have, tons of hairpins and chicanes and stuff to deal with that cause drivers to make mistakes and gain time quickly. You're going to have to do it very creatively, but here comes Les Turner here. Now we're going to have a little bit of weaving and breaking the slipstream down the back straightaway into the bus stop. So Wilson there trying to take that preferred line away, and he gave the outside to the entry of the chicane there to Les Turner, and that didn't run through the carousel very optimally there. So now Turner's going to have another opportunity. You can only get really one move on the block. Anything more than that, and you're open for some interrogation post-race. Can't be bobbing and weaving here. You got about one main move, but when the guy gets his run, you have to give it to him. Turner does have to fall back in line. Wilson will hang on to the top spot here. 6 laps in on an estimate of 35 we're looking at here. But let's see, coming up the hill, this part of the track, especially in an LMP, is basically a flat out. You could more or less consider the exit of 1 all the way to the bus stop as a straightaway in all effective terms. You're not really fighting up the hill here. Look at some bobbing and weaving. Wilson, he's making the one move, and he's kind of staying right in the middle of the track, and he's going to make Les Turner go and enter the bus stop on the outside, which is very suboptimal. Perfectly legal move. Good racing maneuver there. But Les Turner, he's going to have to find something at a different part of the track here, as it looks like we are about to have our first class interaction, and it's actually going to be Ross Booth. There must have been something that occurred to him to put him off pace, because he was not dead last, but now he is. So unfortunately for him, I think I may be able to cue something up here according to my overlays. Oh, there it is. That's probably the most, that's the easiest part of this track to have problems at, is the bus stop. And you know, you're fighting with the curbs, you're trying to straight line it as much as possible while staying on track, and if you get in the grass, you know, you're going to upset the vehicle. And unfortunately for Ross Booth, that's going to put him, you know, shotgun on the field here. Now he's going to get surpassed by some of the other LMPs in the form of Kevin Kyle and Dwayne McCarthy, who has closed in on Kyle for that 5th spot in class. McCarthy had to go wide there on the outside through the penultimate turn, cost him a little bit of time in his attack of Kevin Kyle. Looks like David Berry is closing in on Terry Dahl, exiting the top of the hill. Exit of the S's here, under fire into the bus stop. Terry Dahl is going to take the aggressive entry there and fight off the challenge, at least for the time being. Berry trying to conjure up something here. He's going to try to run a little bit tighter of a line through the carousel. They're going to go out wide here, and you have a little bit of leeway to use on the exit of the carousel in that newly paved area. You know, NASCAR will use every inch of that pavement. Both I personally find it annoying, but they do it nonetheless. Looks like keep an eye on this, but let's go back to our LMP battle here. They are right in the thick of the GT3s here. Now Les Turner is right to the rear bumper, rear spoiler of Mark Wilson here, but now they're going on around the outside there of Dennis Griffin. A couple more ahead. That's going to be Paul Lucky and Barrows there just ahead. Now let's see how this works out. They're probably not going to get him into 1. Luckily, Les Turner is going to use some respect, allow Wilson to kind of maneuver this. They don't want to push anything and put both of them into a pickle. Now they're going to be side by side through the S's. Not an ideal thing here at the Glen. A lot of drivers can tell you that is a very uncomfortable thing to do, but they're going to do it just fine. Here we come down the back straightaway. Les Turner, he's going to have the preferred lane, and he is going to take the lead naturally that time. And got the better run through the S's. Wilson couldn't block that one. And now we're going to have to see if Wilson has what it takes to mount a charge and make a crossover moving. Just all of that battling and that class interaction has pulled Baron Pietri and Kansian into it, so we may have the opportunity for a 4-car battle here for the race lead at LMP. Only 4 in the class, well 6 in the class before them, essentially under a blanket here, which is good stuff to see. Looks like Baron Pietri took a stab there at Kansian, but just did not have enough mustard in the bottle to send it on in there. Now Les Turner starting to pull away on Mark Wilson here. Now, it is, remember, all fixed setups in the Red Sox Racing League, so it's nothing setup related. It's a matter of clean air and taking advantage of it. But here comes some more interaction, some more traffic right into the bus stop. That's going to really hurt Les Turner, especially entering the carousel. There goes Wilson looking high. Thought he was going to have some momentum. Here comes Robert Cansian throwing himself in the mix here. Now we have a lot of stuff going on. 69 Andrew Humphrey. Now we have some 3 wide down the penultimate straightaway there. Les Turner is going to hold off the challenge for the time being. Wilson got an opportunity, but he's going to get stuck behind David Berry there. This is going to work well into Les Turner's favor, giving him almost a second lead. But here comes Todd Baron-Pietri. He's going to go side by side Robert Cansian. He's going to try to take that 3rd spot, but Cansian's going to remain side by side on the exit of 1 up the S's here. But I think Cansian's going to have to relinquish here. Baron-Pietri, well, still not clear. Now finally clear for the spot. Now he's going to be in a position to have a little slipstream and an opportunity to battle with Mark Wilson, but they're going to be bobbing and weaving down the straightaway into the bus stop. Finally, Wilson can breathe just a little bit as he tries to get by Reed Rundle and Mark Kedrowski, who, by the way, are still our GT3 leaders. I know this LMP battle has been nuts, so we haven't focused on this, but they still are within close proximity as they get decimated by these LMPs. Kevin Kyle tried to stay with them there, but he's going to get stuck behind the 944 Kedrowski there. He's going to maybe lose touch with the LMPs for the time being. But all that shuffling and kerfuffling has allowed Les Turner to pull away by about 2 seconds over the competition. Now, there's 2 things that these LMPs can do. They can try, I mean, it's very weird to say it in a road racing environment. They can try and work together and maximize the slipstream and try to eat into this gap, or they can try to figure out in this race between the 3 of them and figure out who's faster and who may have the best opportunity to attack Les Turner. Les Turner hasn't led many races. I mean, I've been covering these guys for a while, so I don't really know what he's like in this position. I mean, I know I've roasted some drivers in the league, such as like a Mitch Heller a couple seasons ago with a lot of self-made mistakes, but I don't know what a Les Turner is going to do in this situation. You know, in the heat of the moment, being up the leader, is he cool as a cucumber? Is he going to, you know, make a mistake by, you know, being a little bit nervous in the moment? I don't know. So this is uncharted territory for me in this capacity. And of course, we still do have the pit stop, which the amount of fuel taken could very much dictate some distances and intervals here on the racetrack. Reed Rundle still within attack range, about a half second. And as I said, it's not, the slipstream in GT3s is not, it's kind of been nerfed down. Whether it's more realistic or not, I don't have the personal answer to it, but I do know the slipstream not as effective in that in this class, not just the car, in the class as a whole. But it doesn't look as though at least the pace for Reed Rundle is definitely that there of level of Mark Kedrowski, if not a little bit faster. He gained exit in the carousel there, got a little bit of toe of some sort down the back straightaway into the final 2 corners here, leading back to the start-finish straight. Still about 3/10, so he's still within range. That Kedrowski constantly having a look in that rear view mirror at what Rundle is going to be doing here. Minnesota Twins on the Audi of Mark Kedrowski. Usually runs a Red Sox scheme, so baseball fan. Looks like overall for Mark Kedrowski. But this is the best run that Reed Rundle has had, and he's going to be down that back straightaway. Where is he going to go? Is he going to go high? Is he going to go low? He's going to go low, but he's not going to keep the pass in check. He's going to stay in line. They're going to fight into the carousel. He's going to try to get some clean air. It's either the gap, they're basically on their own straightaway here. I am looking at the intervals in the other classes. Nothing really of note going on, so we'll focus on this class lead battle here. Currently 15 laps into an estimated 34-lap race for our class leaders. And here comes Kedrowski, and this is not unlike him. We've seen him many a time go with the undercut strategy. He'll pit early, and for the life of me, I don't understand the math of it. I don't get how it works. Well, Robert Barros around. Let's try to take a look, see what happened to him. He was having a solid run there. Replay on screen. Completely self-instigated instant. Into the penultimate turn. Just overcooked it. Rear end steps out, and luckily for him, spun away from everybody else. But again, Kedrowski in the pits right now. He always does this. He pits early. A 13-second stop, which that might be long, but they're also on throttle here a lot more than the other tracks, so maybe it's not. We'll see how it shakes out in the grand scheme. I can say James Prostel has pit as well, and he was in the pits for 10.8 seconds, so not sure what the fuel loads are going to be, but Mark Wilson is still in second place to Les Turner by that 2.5 seconds or so. And Les Turner, part of the kind of the management team here. Him and Terry Dahl do a great job here, doing the back end work and making this league a long-term success, as it's been you know, a league since the early 2000s with John Henry himself, the owner of the Red Sox and a principal funder here at iRacing. He used to race with these guys back in the infancy stages of iRacing, until obviously he became a much bigger band with some big partnerships and you know, acquisitions to take his time there. You can see, I think that was Dwayne McCarthy just about into the tire wall. But Mark Wilson and Robert Cansian will enter the pit, so we have 3 of our 6 LMPs heading into the pit. So we'll see where it shakes out in terms of pit stop times. We saw about 10 to 13 seconds in GT3. Now let's see, I'll take a look at what Mark Wilson's doing. He's got 10.5. Now remember, iRacing does give them, oh, this is a very, 15.9. That's a long stop. 13.6 for, so stops are definitely longer, and I probably will akin that to the fact that we do have a lot more on throttle time here, so it's probably causing them to use a lot more fuel than they would elsewhere. Les Turner, here he comes into the pit, so it looks like 13.6, 15.9, 16.2. Those are the stops in LMP thus far. Marin Pietri and Kyle have yet to pit, so we will still await for them. Still, all of our GT3 leaders remain on track, besides Mark Kedrowski, of course, who already pit. But let's take a look on the stopwatch for Les Turner and see what he pulls off here. 16 flat, so that's going to be right up there with the longer end of the spectrum. So that's going to be Robert Cansian with a 2-second faster pit stop than anybody else. And let's see how this shakes out. Now the gap over Cansian, 1.3 seconds. Yep, so right there, that car just in front of him. Yep, right there. That is our race leader right now, our class leader. So he's right there. So that slightly shorter pit stop for Cansian has the opportunity to do wonders here to make this a better race, but you just have to wonder, how much fuel did he take? Did he take enough fuel? Of course, everybody, for those who don't know, iRacing does have the auto fuel calculation feature now on the service. So basically, as you run laps, it learns your fuel mileage. and it will kind of do the math for you and let you know how much fuel you need to complete the race, given the mileage that you have computed thus far in the event. So they know basically exactly what they need, and they can choose to put a buffer on that if they want to play it on the safe end. So there's not really the manual calculations. You don't have to put in as much time ahead of time, unless of course you just don't believe what the calculator says, which I know some people are kind of in that game there. But it'll be very interesting to see what does happen here, as they still are separated. Well, they're right on each other. Cancian and Les Turner, they're right on each other. So whether there is a pass for the win, or whether there is a lack there of fuel in the cell, it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out. But Les Turner last time by was a hair slower, only about half a 10, so nothing drastic here. But let's go back and take a look at our battles in GT3. Reed Rundle, he's going to come into the pits. Terry Dahl, Thomas Wolfe, they're all going to come in. Now Mark Kedrowski, remember he was first to pit. He's on the backstretch right now. Everybody else has yet to even reach their pit stall here. So Reed Rundle just now parking it in the pits here. You'll be able to see there in the corner of the shot when Reed Rundle, that white car, comes by. We'll take a look. Take a look for it over here. You'll be able to see when he does come by. Kedrowski. Oh, yep, yeah, he's eons ahead of these guys right now. Absolutely miles ahead. And again, I have yet to figure out why this strategy works so well, but for some reason, it ends up giving him such a lead in many of these races. So Kedrowski definitely... and Reed Rundle, what happened to him? It's Reed Rundle, 52 seconds in the pits. So that, I'm assuming, is a speeding violation there, because usually a speeding penalty is 35 seconds. So that's going to be killer for them. And basically, I think it's going to give Kedrowski the lead by 7 seconds over Dahl. Once David Berry pits. And again, this is going to be the best battle on track. This is Les Turner and Robert Cancian. They are right on each other, having a great battle here, coming up through the S's. Still separated by only about that 0.3 of a second. And now they're going to come onto the back straightaway here. Les Turner is going to do a light weaving job. Going to enter that bus stop. See, Gap just kind of staying put, and it is the fact that we are at Watkins Glen. You will experience some aero wash. You will experience some aero push here. Depends on what you want to how you want to verbiage it. Kevin Kyle still being shown the leader. He has yet to pit, so definitely running that thing absolutely dry, as close to possible as he can, but. You will get some aero push here, especially here on these faster corners, heading up the S's, which, like I said, they are basically a straightaway. But, as the tires age, they do become more of an actual corner. And you will have to figure something out. You will have to, try to get some clean air on the nose of your car. And look at him right there down the back straightaway within 0.2 of a second, 2 car lengths closer than he's been in quite some time. But now he's going to come through the carousel, kind of right on his tail, try to go a little bit right, get a little clean air. He's going to get that momentum, try to get in the slipstream here. He's within a car length now. Les Turner using the defensive line, big block there, shuts the door, enters the penultimate corner. Right on the rear deck lid is Cancian here. 10 minutes left to go. Red Sox Racing League here at Watkins Glen. They're going to come down that front straightaway. This is going to be the battle for the win. as Kevin Kyle has pit. So this has transitioned back to the battle for the race lead here. Exiting turn 1, closest he's been yet. You can see the sun starting to go down here at Watkins Glen. Les Turner's going to have a whale of a task on his hands here down the back straightaway. He's going to give, well, run the middle. He's going to give Cansian the ideal line there, and I don't think Turner had the optimal entry, but it was sufficient enough. Now you can see there on the long shot, Cansian, he entered high, kept that clean air on the nose. Now this is where he's been getting the best runs, but this is probably the hardest braking zone to pass in because it's just such a light passing zone and a lot of swerving there. You can see some dust kicking up by running far offline here. I don't know if that'll cause any grip degradation there. Coming off the final corner here, estimated about 10 laps to go here, or just under that, probably 9 to go at this point. Big look to the inside, letting him know he's there. You know, even if you're not close enough, you want to at least make your presence known, that, you know, make sure that he can see you there and kind of be sweating it. He's going to go right in line down the back straightaway. We'll watch the interval here. I'll pull the interval up on the screen. You can see it going down, going down, going down. I don't think Turner's going to have to swerve this time, but he's not close enough to require that, but much more aggressive. Ooh, a little bit free there. So Turner was a little bit conservative there, but Cansian, you know, he was more aggressive, but then paid the price for it. That's James Prostel on that bright green car. Shouldn't be an issue, I don't think. Nope, they'll get back in line at a normal junction there, but by far our best battle in LMP this season. Coming off the final corner, ooh, Les Turner may have scraped a safer barrier there. If not, he missed it just. Worth noting, Kedrowski up by 4 seconds over David Berry. It was 7, so the gap is going down, but is it going down enough to be of note? That Kedrowski entered the penultimate corner there, about half straightaway back. You find David Berry. Something did happen to Terry Dahl. He is now multiple laps down with a damaged car, so Terry Dahl fans will be slightly disappointed here, but we can't keep our eyes off this battle. We can see some GT3s off in the distance here that will come into play here in the waning stages of tonight's event. I believe that's Reed Rundle. Remember, he was right up there with a chance to win this race, and a very extended pit stop will have taken that away from him. We'll get out of the way, and this is going to be a little bit precarious for these drivers. I think that's Ed Sutcliffe. Yes, it is. Sutcliffe's going to be right in the way. He's going to force these guys around. Les Turner's going to have to go around the long way there. And it didn't slow up his momentum enough, or Cansian may have had to undergo the same event, so they didn't have as much of a momentum change there. But entering turn number 1, looks like Cansian, he's getting that really good exit. And then he's going to go up the hill here and just have nowhere to go with it. See, he's bobbing and weaving there. That's costing him momentum, but he has the run. He doesn't want to back off, doesn't want to bog the car down and lose that momentum. Now Les Turner is going to run the middle of the track. He's going to, you know, try to take that slipstream away, and he's going to do just that. They're going to come through the carousel this time by, and this is that corner where you really have to run slightly offline, get that air on the nose. He gets that really good run on exit here. He gets the slipstream, and then, well, just didn't get the run off the carousel that he has been usually getting. And then hard on the minders for the last 2 corners here. We do have a couple more GT3s that will come into play here. Whether that comes into play for or against each drive, we'll see. But coming off the final corner, he got the run. He's going to pull underneath. They're going to be door to door, entering turn number 1 with the GT3s in front. Les Turner is going to back off, and he didn't really fight it that hard. Yeah, he's going to get the run back to the inside. This is going to be really scary here. That's going to be Bill Paul lucky here, try to get out of the way as best he can. That's Robert Barros there just ahead as well. Les Turner trying to use that slipstream, trying to get another stab at it. Coming down the back straightaway here, just under 5 minutes to go. He's going to take a look, make his presence known right to the rear deck lid. Coming into the bus stop here, not relinquishing one bit is the Batmobile. He's going to take a look to the inside, and he's going to have position through the carousel as Cansian goes wide in the carousel, exiting the corner, and Les Turner, well, he didn't get the run on exit. Now he's in the grass. Hang on to it, buddy. great bit of driving here at Watkins Glen by these guys. I thought Turner was going to have it, but he didn't get the run at the exit of the carousel. The momentum bogged down there running the inside lane. Seems like Les Turner is really managing that clean air a little bit better. Canty had huge weave down there on the front straightaway. Can't do that too much, Robert, because that's going to throw you off your line there. That's going to get you out of your momentum, out of your groove. And I think it did just that. Les Turner right to the back bumper here through the S's. Got to watch out. Where is he going to go? Where is he going to go? He's clipping the curb there. And he's going to have the opportunity here down the back straightaway, perhaps heading into the bus stop. Oh, he's going to, looks like Les Turner's going to lose a little bit of time here. Did he, oh, did he, I hope he didn't get a slowdown. Please tell me he didn't get a slowdown. He may have, but where did he come from? Mark Wilson. I think through all this shenanigans, all this battling, Mark Wilson was able to close in on Les Turner there. Now, Cancian was able to pull away by about 3/4 of a second. Now, is that enough to give him a sigh of relief? Is that enough for him to get some fresh air and start to pull away? Now it's already 0.8 of a second. He may have broke the draft here, but Turner, you know, he's not going to go down without a fight. Really hard on the binders there, entering one, and it's stuck. I can't believe it. He went from 0.8 to 0.4 there. That's enough to give him the mo headed up the hill here. And give him a little bit of draft there. You can see there is the race leader. And there is Mark Wilson. Now you're in that precarious position now where you're trying to get to the lead, but you're also trying to hang on and stay ahead of Wilson. And Wilson wants to go for the win, but he also needs to get second to go for the win here. Now Cancian, he's losing time. Now remember, Robert Cancian took a really, really short pit stop. Is he trying to save, perhaps, and, you know, lean the engine out, back off a little bit to save some fuel to make the end here? Here comes Mark Wilson with a dive on the back straightaway. Pulls back in line for the penultimate turn number 7 into turn number 8 here at Watkins Glen. Now we're heading to within 3 laps to go. Mark Wilson getting feisty. He's trying to get by Les Turner. Remember, Mark Wilson was our pole sitter today, but quickly fell back and hasn't been able to retain. Les Turner really getting good runs through turn number 1 here. And now he's going to head up the hill, only about a half second back. And I still question the fuel load on Cancian because he's really lagging back in various aspects, various corners of the track. And I do see some GT3s just ahead. That'll be problematic. I think it's only one. Here comes Mark Wilson looking at the outside of Les Turner, but that move is not going to go anywhere. But I'll tell you, Turner is sending it into these braking zones, and he's gaining a whale of time when he does so. They're going to have to go to the outside there. Can't quite make out who that is, but that's going to give it a good opportunity in the slipstream. Mark Wilson is going to go to the right. He's going to go to the left. Les Turner is going to have to relinquish. Nope, he's just going to send it on it even deeper and clear himself here. Now we're coming to what should be 2 to go, maybe. No, it should be 2 to go here at Watkins Glen, and we definitely have a battle on our hands. Cancian cannot breathe. He's going to have to run 2 perfect laps and probably overcome some big attempts for the lead here. Another GT3 off in the distance, but it didn't look like Turner got off of one as good as he has been. Now I think he'll still be able to get back at it. Let's see here on the battle graphic. Half a second last time by Turner, 3/10 faster, but I think Turner may be having a deal with Mark Wilson. Yes, he is. So he's kind of on both ends of the sandwich here, trying to make something happen. Not anything really going on in GT3. Now Cancian's going to have to go to the outside of the lapper. That's going to throw him super wide through the carousel, but Turner not able to take advantage. Wilson, he is going to be able to take advantage. He's going to pull door to door. They're going to have a drag race brake paddle into the corner. Outside move. Mark Wilson's going to take the spot. Can Turner get a crossover? They're going to be side by side. This is going to let Cancian pull away to over a second and a third lead. So barring any fuel issues, that's basically the battle for the win gone. But Robert can't, or should I say less, because that's Mark Kedrowski just in front, and he really woed up Robert Cancian there. Took a second preliminary lead back down to 0.7 of a second, but now Les Turner is going to have to deal with it through the S's here. Going to go around the outside. We haven't formally been given the white flag, but I'm almost certain that we will. Here comes a high-low move by Wilson. He's going to get the door shut on him. Can't really go anywhere with it. Now, it's going to be a really tight battle here. What scoring does? Are they going to give us the white, or are they going to squeeze in one more? If you're Turner, you want to squeeze in one more. If you're Cancian, you want a last-second white flag. This is going to be really, really tight here. I think it's going to squeeze us in one more by the skin of our teeth here. And if there is a fuel issue here, nope, that's it. Is this going to be a photo finish to the line off of final corner by just a whisker there? Robert Cancian's going to win. And we just, again, that was the tightest last second call. We didn't get the white flag or the checker call until about 300 feet before the line. And probably the closest finish in Red Sox Racing League recent history, I would have to imagine there. And Mark Kedrowski also getting the win. Absolute thriller of a race. Probably the most intense race I think I've covered in Red Sox Racing League history here. So, at least in the PTR TV era, which we've covered quite a bit of these races. So, Robert Cancian, great job there. Les Turner, he lost the lead, and if that race went one lap longer, who's to say what would have happened? Mark Wilson, fabulous job. Tried to recoup the lead after losing it there on the initial start and not really been able to recoup it there. But and then Mark Kedrowski did hang on by 3.5 seconds over. That was David Berry, who got second place here on the evening. So while these guys do cool down and head themselves back to the pits, let's head up to the booth and give you the PTR TV final results here today from the Watkins Glen International Raceway. Robert Cancian with that win. Les Turner finishes second with Mark Wilson in third. Todd Baron-Pietri, quiet run there in fourth. Didn't really talk about him too much, but Kevin Kyle with the fifth, and then Dwayne McCarthy finishes in sixth. And then starting our GT3, Mark Kedrowski gets that win. David Berry second, Thomas Wolfe in third, Robert Barros with the fourth in class. And then rounding out our race results here tonight, Bill Pollocky with the fifth, Ed Sutcliffe finishes in sixth, James Prostel Jr. seventh, Reed Rundle, heartbreak for him. We don't know exactly what happened to him, but some kind of penalty of sorts in the pits relinquishes him back to eighth. Terry Dahl had some kind of issue. He falls back to ninth, and then Griffin, Ross Booth, the last of first challenge, not coming into effect here, and then Andrew Humphrey, shotgun on the field. I don't think he actually turned a lap, but very quickly into the winner's booth here is Robert Cancian. And Robert, what a race. By far, I think the most thrilling Red Sox Racing League race I've covered, and I've covered a lot of your guys' races there. It was a super quick run to the checkers there. I think you guys got the white flag call and the checker call all off the final corner in perfect timing, because Les was going to have a move on you into one.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was a little bit of an interesting race. I actually, before the race started, I said on our own team chat, I said, I'm not looking forward to this race at all, because it always turns into like an Indy 500, like everyone's just drafting off of each other. And there was a few sketchy moments there early, just not wanting to hit anybody. But yeah, it was once I got out of the pits, I think on that first stint, I saved a lot of fuel drafting behind the few guys in front of me. So when I pitted, I jumped Mark Wilson, and I knew at that point, well, I'm not going to wait for him to try and draft off of. I just had to go. And luckily enough, I was able to catch up to Les when he came out of the pits. And yeah, after that, I honestly thought Les was going to crash a couple times. I thought he hit the wall and went off track. But yeah, it was a very exciting race, and I was actually pleasantly surprised, because I wasn't sure this layout was going to work well with sports cars. But it was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm predominantly an oval channel, and this felt like an oval race to me. Constant action, never getting a break on the call. Now, I do have to ask you on the fuel, because your fuel was about 2 seconds less, your pit stop time, than anybody else. So were you close at all, or was it just really a matter of just, as you said, saving and just really calculating it down to the 10th?
If that's the case, I mean, I was behind those. I'm usually very light. I'm a right foot breaker, so I'm usually pretty light on fuel compared to everyone else I race with anyways. Plus I was drafting, and I was doing a lot of lifting and coasting, so however much I needed, that's probably where, like, compared to Wilson in front of me, he was leading the pack the whole time for that first stint. So I'm sure even just the couple of 0.23 of a gallon less fuel that's probably how I assume I jumped him across on that pit stop. That's the only thing I can think of, because it was just a pure, like, you could see as soon as I gapped Wilson, he fell back about 2 or 3 seconds. But once you got in a pack of 2 and you started getting up to GT cars, me and Les, and we were just trying to avoid them and just kind of keep up our speed. So that's basically how that race unfolded.
Yeah, and again, everything you say, it basically sounds like this is an oval interview, just the way it race out, man. But again, congrats on a really exciting win, thrilling win here at the Glen, and we'll see what you can do next week at, I'm not even sure, well, I think the new track, Jerez next week, I think, so we'll see you there.
Sounds like I got to pay about $14 for a new track. Thanks.
makes two of us, man. And I got Mark Kudrowski right here in the booth. Well, I'll tell you, it wasn't quite the thrilling race there in GT3, though it could have been until I think Reed Rundle may have had a pit penalty or something, and after that it seemed like it was just 2
penalties.
Yeah, so double duty there. But after that Minnesota Twins out, he just got to cruise here at the Glen. So in the time it was a battle. I mean, just kind of talk about your race overall, and just kind of how it fared post pit stop.
Yeah, close to the beginning, like first lap, I think, Reed let me by. It's better to be the chaser than the chased, and he figured he could hang in my draft, and I kept it together. And then when he was just passing me about a third through the race, I got the pit lane open. So I took it just as Reed was passing me, and I just nailed it. And I was all alone for the whole time after that. So, it's and I was confused or just wondering where Reed and the like were. And I ended up having Dave Barry and Thomas Wolfe behind me, ways back, and so just wanted to keep it together. So, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I don't want to give away your strategy too much, but I'll tell you, these early pits that you do seem to be working out, and I can't figure out the math on them at all, but it just seems like they're working, so it's only a matter of time before everybody else catches on. But as it is heard from Robert, we head to what I believe, and I may be off, and I'm pretty sure it's that new track Jerez next week. So is that going to be a purchase for you, or you got some confidence heading in there next week if that's indeed where we're going?
A little bit of confidence. I've raced it a few times before, and it's a neat track. It's a really cool track, so it'll be fun there.
All right, I'm just going to bring up my schedule graphic just to confirm if that's the case. No, I lied. So, and Robert, you're still. We're going to Spa next week, so Jerez is the following week. So another track that is well known, a lot of straightaways, a lot of chicane. So it could be a very similar race, but maybe a little bit more spreading out. But either way, guys, congrats on solid runs, and we'll see what you can do next week at Spa.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Like the Twins and JPL Wisers as well for their sponsorship of me. So yeah, it's good, really good.
All right, sounds good, guys. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Well, again, great racing here at the Watkins Glen International for the Red Sox Racing League. Absolutely grandstand race, and one that I hope you guys enjoyed, because I enjoyed giving the calls here. Congrats to Kudrowski and Kansian, and stay tuned here to PTR TV. It's going to be a little bit light here as we are kind of hitting the summer stretch here, so some leagues are taking some time off, but we'll be back next Friday. No, we'll be back next week for the Red Sox Racing League next Thursday, and I believe next Friday as well for the D2 100% Cup Series, guys, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But that's Corey signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.